Hey, I'm Mike,
And I'm Chris.
and we're from the band Dead Romantic, and you're listening to it live and loud.
All right. Welcome to Alive and Loud, guys. Today, our special guests are joining us all the way from the UK. We have Dead Romantic. Guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having us, man.
I appreciate your time. So how have you guys been doing? I know, the world's been a little chaotic the last 495 days. What have you guys been up to?
We've been busy making a record and trying to get it out there and noticed, and we're just starting to come out of this pandemic, which seems to be getting worse, but we're supposed to be released from it on the 19th. So hopefully that goes as planned and we can get back to playing shows and doing real life things again. But it's been good for us because we've had the ability to just be in the studio making the record and focus on that.
That's great. So can you tell us a little bit about what you guys have been up to as far as the record? I know we've got a little sneak peek with 2 songs. And could you tell us a little bit about those? Because I have been listening to them for a good while now, and they're killer tracks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the record is similar in style, but there's a lot of diversity in it, and we pull from a lot of different influences. Everyone in the band has their kind of sonic influences, and we come from different backgrounds, but we have a commonality, I guess, between us.
Mm-hmm.
So you can expect it to be heavy with poppy hooks and ripping drums, loud guitars, and screaming vocals. And Chris's bass sounds unbelievably fat. So
It's always
sonically,
fat bass.
yeah, we need fat bass. And a lot of metal records are mixed with bass pretty low in the mix, so we tried to feature it a bit more in this.
Yeah, my ego wouldn't allow a quiet bass, so here we are.
That's awesome. So for those that are watching right now or listening to us on Spotify or iTunes, whatever the platform might be, if you guys wouldn't mind, introduce yourselves and tell everybody who you are and what you do in the band.
Okay. My name is Mike, and I play guitar and produce the record.
And my name's Chris. I'm the bass player.
And an adult dancer.
I'm an adult dancer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Might have to get some of that before this show wraps up. I don't know. We'll see how.
I cannot promise that.
Yes, please.
Off the top.
So I wanted to ask you, man, you have actually, Mike, you've been known to touch a lot of different bands here recently. You produce quite a bit. So if you could, what has it been like to do that for, Dead Romantic? How have you guys been with all the vibes and everything over in the UK? I know there's a lot of great music that I personally consume from over there with Bring the Horizon, Architects, just to name a few. What is that like to bring that to your own band?
It's fun. I mean, the cool thing is that you're doing it for yourself, and so it doesn't feel so much like a job. It's kind of refreshing to take a departure from making pop records and other people's records and just focus on doing it for the art, like for the reason you get into music in the first place. When you're young, you want to be a rock star, and it's like, oh, I want to write my own songs. And then somewhere along the lines, it kind of is like, oh, if I want to have a career at this, I have to do things for other people. Shit. So I think it's cool because you get to revisit that younger inner self and go back to like what makes you happy, and you do it for the love, and and you can take your time with it and experiment and do things. But then on the other hand, you sometimes overthink it too, because you really want it to be good and really want it to be special. But it's been really fun to play, to play guitar solos again. Has been awesome.
Oh yeah.
And I've been saying for years, I can't wait to do a rock record and just get in the studio and do something that's like I'm really passionate about. So that's been the cool thing. And then the guys in the band are all amazing players. They're all great guys, and so it's fun. There's no stress. We all get together. Well, there's stress. It's a band, but there's no stress between the members. It's like
we are not the cause of our stress.
Yeah, we're more stressed about trying to make this thing a success. But everyone's so great to work with and so easygoing, and we all have this common goal of making this succeed and breaking it.
Yeah, and Now, I want to ask, you had Steve Diamond help you with a particular song on the record, right?
Yeah, we co-wrote a lot of the record with him. Is him and I go way back and wrote a lot together over the years in Nashville and LA for lots of other artists. We just have a killer writing chemistry. So I thought, hey, Dan, let's try to write a couple with Steve Diamond. And we did one and it was great. And then it's like, hey, we're gonna write tomorrow. You want to hop on a Zoom? And it just kind of came a thing. It was really easy, and he's really good. Steve's role in it is kind of like taking the complex lyric ideas and maybe like dumbing it down a little bit so we can appeal to the masses and maybe tame the anger a little bit. I don't know, but it's just a really good, it's fun. I mean, I guess the main reason we did it is because we wrote really cool stuff, and it was really fun to do.
Steve's also really good at almost being the guy to go, no, not that part.
Yeah.
He's like a filter, isn't he, to some ideas that are maybe a bit too, maybe a line that's a bit too wordy, or a hook in a chorus that could be better. He's just really good at fine tuning what's already there, as well as contributing fresh ideas to an already sort of bare-bones skeleton of a track. Yeah. He's a very smart man, very handsome too.
So would you say that having his influence on this record really helps? I mean, I know you do a lot of writing with him and everything. Does he also influence on some of the more musicality of the record as well?
No, not really. I feel like in the case of this, we kind of had almost all of the melodies were already written, and pretty much all we took them almost completed track ideas and a melodic idea, and it was just like and even we had title and concepts. So it was just a matter of like, let's just write this lyric, and it was so organic and fast. It's like we'd spend a couple hours, and then it's like, okay, that song, we can put that to bed now we just got to record the vocal. So yeah, there wasn't, he didn't really have a sonic influence on it. It was more that all came from the band. It was just more just making it a fun, quick experience with the lyric thing. And it was I guess just because him and I have such good writing chemistry, it was just something that felt really natural and a good fit.
Right. So would you say this is definitely one of those records that you've always wanted to make?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can tell, there's a lot of things in, like, with Yesterday specifically, that I kind of listen to an artist and I'll pull apart different things. Like, I'll listen to the bass and I'll listen to like the frontline guitars and stuff like that. But with Yesterday, man, you guys really showcased a lot of the diversity of what you guys are capable of. So if you could break it down for us in a way that, say you're in the studio and you've got this song in mind, what is it like to really let loose in the studio while recording a song like Yesterday?
Well, I mean, breaking it down, it was like, the way we tend to write with this record in particular was like, we'd have a riff and then come up with a melody and then kind of find a groove. So that was like the first thing that we get done. We come up with a riff and then come up with a rhythmical thing and a drum idea, and then run in and really lay down the idea, and then reevaluate the lyrics. So that was the thing. The lyric and the melody were the things that we reworked the most. The music kind of came super fast, and we didn't really set it out like, hey, this song has to sound like this and it's going to go this way. We would have kind of a structure, and it would just almost like write itself into that thing. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, it would almost write itself into that song. So it wasn't like try to throw the kitchen sink in and like, oh, here's all the tricks we got to put in it. It kind of one thing would dictate what the other thing is going to do, and it kind of came together pretty naturally that way. That's
awesome. I one of those things that I always tend to do, other than listen to everything with the musicality of a record, try and singling everyone out, is I try to listen to where the band is headed with the single. Now with Yesterday, we got a taste of it, and then you released another single, and I was like, okay, I'm really ready for this full record to be out. So when is the record coming out, and what is the most exciting part of releasing this going to be for you?
The record is supposed to come out September 3rd.
Okay.
There is a slight chance that we might delay it, so I don't want to get everyone like, set on a hard deadline.
Yeah.
We're doing some industry showcases, and it could change the dynamic of how we're going to release the record. So right now we've been releasing everything through my own label, which is distributed by Sony Orchard. But there has been some labels express some interest in it. So there is a possibility we might bring on a label partner. In the event of that, I would imagine that the date would get postponed a little bit, but we'll continue to release singles while that's happening. And I think to answer the question, I think the most exciting thing about it is just, seeing how people react to it, and really like hoping that they react to it positively enough to get out and do larger tours and double bills with some great acts, some good festival shows, and really get this thing to the next level.
Hell yeah.
And obviously we want radio and press behind it as much as humanly possible. So I guess we're just hoping that it reacts the same way that we love it. I hope people love it just as much.
For sure. I mean, I would have to say, with yesterday, the video alone has 1.5 million views on YouTube. That is absolutely crazy to me. I think that anybody, if I'm an artist, I want my video to get at least 100 watches. I would hope that at least 100 people are consuming it and like, yeah, this fucking rocks. But you guys have had 1.5 million people who have sat through this video and witnessed everything that I've witnessed, which was greatness. This song is awesome. And I want to ask, what is it like for you guys to actually get that, that tick on your phone, and it's like your video has crossed 50,000. Now you're over 100,000. Like, what is it like for you guys? It has to be pretty humbling, right?
It's it was unexpected, and every time it hits a little milestone like that, you go, wow, cool, people are digging it. Wow, people are watching it. And you think it's going to end. So when it creeped up to 1 million, we're like, holy shit, this is cool. So obviously we don't want to get our hopes up too much, because we want to turn that into asses and seats. And a lot of people spend their time watching videos and on their phones. That's one thing, but actually gaining fans from that viewership is like something that we really want to do and translate into true fans. So if we know that we have 1.5 million true fans on our video, that's mind-blowing to me, and I hope that keeps up as we release new songs.
So Chris, I'd like to ask you this, kind of a parlay into this question. Kiss with a Lie has also got 1.5 million views. Now, I understand, don't get choked up on me now. If you need some water, I've got some right here.
I'm all right, don't you worry.
All right. No, I think it's awesome. You guys have two videos, 1.5 million views a pair, and another one that's already vastly creeping past 131,000 views, and that's for your live in studio of yesterday. For you playing bass, like we talked about before, like you want everything to be fat, you want it to be heavy, you want it to be thumping. How do you feel about that? Like, you coming into it, you've got to be super hype about it.
It's almost obviously it's a real thing, because you look at the numbers on your screen and you go 1.5 million, 130,000 views, 1 point something million, and it's a real thing. But at the same time, sometimes I look at it and go, nah, it's not real. Like, someone's having me on here, someone's hacked my phone and changed the number from 7 views to 1.5 million views. So it's incredibly exciting seeing the love and the validation back from the literal blood, sweat, and tears that we've put into this. But then at the same time, it's very humbling in a way where it's like, it's very difficult to describe, because it is exactly what we want to happen. But at the same time, it's such a surprise. It's such an interesting feeling watching those views go up and just being
And there's
blown away by it.
there's always this thing in the back of your head. It's like, well, we're not there yet. Like, don't get too excited.
Yeah, exactly.
This is just the beginning, and we have high expectations from all of ourselves and the band
and we're also
do something special with
the four of us were very, very driven, very motivated, we're very self-analytical as well. So when the band hits a milestone or celebrates a success, we take that success and we all get excited by it, as you imagine you would.
Yeah.
But then we're all very quick to go, amazing, what's next? Or like, okay, this has done this, but can it do this? And it's a constant, you feel the fire in the belly, which is really exciting, like the forward momentum.
Right. You don't want to get that sense of complacency. You want to continue.
No, you don't want to.
What else?
We don't feel comfortable. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what makes you guys stand out, is I can tell you guys are a very hungry band. And I say that with all due respect. I think that there's so many artists out there who have the potential to be great and to do what you guys are already doing, but they're not hungry enough to go after it and get it. And with what you guys have already been doing so far, you're putting your best foot forward. You're capitalizing on one video and going to the next. And honestly, past the videos, like your songwriting alone is what's launching you guys. I think you guys could probably put a video with, a rock in the middle of a pond or something, and it would still do well, just because, the visuals help. Yes, music videos are awesome, but I think songwriting is the most important element, and you guys have got some killer songwriting skills. And I want to ask, is it a whole, we talked about Steve before, but is it a collective writing process as far as the whole band gets involved in certain aspects, whether it be, the music side of things with like elemental guitars and drums, or is it something that you guys do with the actual lyrics together?
It's collaborative. I mean, Dan and I wrote the majority of the record. However, it's like, it's open season for everyone. Chris came in with a killer chorus. Was that My Parade, right?
Yeah.
So it came in with this killer song idea. It was a completed song, and we ripped it apart, and we're like, oh, that chorus, and then wrote a whole song around it. So there's always something that comes up from even an inspired drum part or something that can change the trajectory of the song. So, but primarily Dan and I are the main writers, but who knows, anyone could come up with something that's amazing. And the way we look at it, if it's a band, and at the end of the day, it's a band, and everyone's part is important.
I love to hear that. I absolutely love to hear it. Now, on a little lighter note, I want to ask, who's probably the most troublesome in the band?
Me, for sure.
It's the most trouble.
Yeah, I'm the trouble one in the band.
You're a bad influence.
Who else? The most troublesome?
Define troublesome.
Yeah.
Okay, you're at a venue, 2,000 cap, say for instance. I'm just spitballing here, and you guys have already done your rehearsals. It's about 4 hours before show. Who's getting into the most trouble? Who's gonna be mischievous?
You know what? We're pretty.
I don't know, because I think Dan can be giddy energy. He's giddy energy, isn't he? Whereas I'm more like a coiled spring.
See, we're all kind of like tame before show. Usually the trouble would happen after the show.
Okay, that's fair.
But if we were to guess, like, if this thing really took off, I'd see Dan. Dan would get he would get the most.
Well,
trouble.
I'm very quiet before and after a gig. For me, it's like nervous energy coils up like a spring, and then I get on stage and it's just all unleashed, and then by the time we end the set, I'm done.
Chris is the likely one to go to bed early.
Oh yeah,
I'm the one that never sleeps. Yeah. Dan is the most likely to do cocaine off strippers' asses.
It's always that. I'm sure he's not. We always say that when he's not around.
And Sam is, Sam, the keyboard player, who is the new addition to the band. He's the techie one. But I think, all of our personalities blend pretty well together.
Yeah.
So I can see us all getting in some sort of trouble, but we're all kind of good boys too. Nobody does drugs. Nobody does.
Yeah.
Everyone's got families and shit. So we're like, we have young energy, but we're kind of chill. too,
You like
and
to just have
professional.
fun. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So and Chris, you've already kind of touched on it, but one of my favorite questions to ask an artist is, what is it like? You've already done your rehearsal, you've already, walked around the venue or around the city for a little bit and been able to decompress. Once you take the stage, July 28th, what are you expecting to feel? I don't know. Is this going to be your first show back, first of all?
No, we did one show a few weeks ago as our debut show, which we sold
Okay.
out, which was great.
Right. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, well, there we go. For me, I like for me, playing on stage is a very almost like a primeval thing. It's a very cool thing for me. Like I almost take this anxious energy of the nerves before the show, because I have no problem being nervous. Being nervous just means you care. If you didn't care, you wouldn't. So I channel that energy, and then it's almost like I build it up over the course of the day, and then we hit the stage, and I just let go of everything, and I kind of take all my nervousness and just beat the living shit out of my bass for an hour or so, or however long we're on stage. And then by the time we get off stage, it's all spent and I'm all done, and I want to read a book and go to bed. Like Incredible Hulk. I describe it as that kind of thing. So sound check, I'm the Incredible Hulk when we go on stage. But the energy and the feeling, that's such a big thing for me. It's like such a high, isn't it? Being on stage in front of people and just letting loose.
And the next couple shows, we have a new drummer that's going to be playing with us, so that's going to give us some inspiration and some fun too. The drummer that we have playing with us is named Dave Lankett from Canada, and he and I go way back to when we were teenagers, causing trouble in Toronto. But yeah, we're really excited about playing with him, and we've done a couple rehearsals, and it's just sounding fucking awesome. We love it.
That's great. So you've already got the one show out, and you've got probably, I know, the one on the 28th, and then I think you have another one shortly after that. Yeah.
London on the 4th.
August. Yeah, London.
Okay. So 2 more shows coming up at least. I really wish to God that I could make it over there and catch one, because it seems like, and we talked before, being from Nashville, there's some good music venues around here, but it seems like overseas just has the best metal community that I've ever witnessed. You've got Bring Me the Horizon, Architects, and so many other bands. There you go. I know you've worked with the band, actually, have you not?
No, Bring Me, no, I wish. But we did have Zach Cervini mix one of our songs called Stay High. And Zach
mixed the last Architects album.
And the Bring Me records.
And one Bring Me stuff.
Right. See, I've got a few friends over there who we've talked to on the show in Caskets. I don't know if you've heard of the band, but they're phenomenal guys. And I just got a bucket list of people that I want to go over there and see a show. If I could just like compact my own show. What's that?
Is Caskets a band that recently had a name change?
They are, yes.
Yes, I'm relatively familiar with them. I don't know them, but they've come up as like a, hey, you like this band, maybe you'll like this. I watched they did like a live stream, maybe like a 3-song set, maybe in Park Magazine or something like that. And they sound great. Yeah, they sound really right.
They're absolutely great guys. I'm ready to have them back on the show already. But like I said, over in the UK and that whole area over there, you guys just have such a wealth and a deep well of great musicians. So being that you have spent some time over in Nashville, you've been over here in the States and now you've gone overseas, would you say that that's fair to assume that, there's just better metal overseas than there is in the States?
Yeah, I mean, there's some killer bands in the States, like Beartooth, and
right.
I mean, there's some amazing bands there. But living here, I think there's a bigger community of it here. It feels to me, and it seems more widely accepted over here. And in the Architects having a #1 record, Bring Me the Horizon having a #1 physical sales record is like, that hasn't happened in rock in 30 years. So it feels like this is the place where it's like, it's almost like the British invasion. You remember when Led Zeppelin and all those British rock came out? It's almost like that's happening again with the British metal scene. And that's pretty much the reason I moved over here, and came to start the record label here, is because it's just such a cool scene, and rock is cool here. It's like, in America, it's like, no, it's not.
The UK is also definitely having a resurgence of guitar-based music. Maybe in the last 5 years or something. Bring Me the Horizon, bringing Sempiternal out, Royal Blood appearing, and really bringing guitar-based music into like the actual mainstream charts. It feels like guitars are back and they're welcome in mainstream media now.
Yeah, I'm definitely here for it, man. I have missed that feeling you get from discovering a new band, because at some point everyone's a new band, right? And whenever I first came across you guys, you were a new band to me, and I had to listen through as much as I could find. And my God, it's just like, where has this been my whole life? You're always looking for that next band to add to your playlist, or to add it for a different mood, or whatever you might be feeling. But that's the greatest thing about music, is that it's always got an accompanying genre for any type of mood. And with Dead Romantic, you guys, I really can't thank you enough for writing the music that you do, because it speaks to me in ways that I can't even explain. So I'm sure that it speaks to many other people who have been consuming it as well. I honestly wish you guys nothing but the success going forward. You guys have been awesome, man. I really appreciate it. If I could ask you one last question, and this is one that I wanted to ask because of the previous question. If you could put your own tour together, your own artist handpicked, who would you put on the bill with Dead Romantic?
Oh,
I think let's each pick
going to
some.
be very different depending on who you ask.
I think Bring Me would be one. Architects would be another. Chris, give a couple.
Oh man,
Youngblood would be cool.
Hell yeah.
Bring Me Architects, you kind of hit that on the head there. And I mean, it's so difficult, because what do you do?
Chris is going to say Metallica.
I am a huge Metallica fan.
Dan would say Bullet for My Valentine or My Chemical Romance. Sam would say
30 Seconds to Mars.
30 Seconds to Mars. Yeah,
Sam
definitely.
is a huge 30 Seconds to Mars fan.
Yeah, John Mayer.
We're all very big John. I don't think John would have us, but it would be very nice if you're listening, John.
First of all, if John Mayer's listening to this podcast, we've made it, right?
You never know.
Second of all, you don't know, because John Mayer's releasing a record that's like straight 80s rock. So
today.
It could happen. You guys could make this tour happen. I don't know.
The next one, he's going to be doing hair metal.
I'm here for it.
Oh, he'd crush it as well, wouldn't he? Come on.
He's going to be
you
tapping.
Just know he would.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, we have so many influences, but I think like suit our genre, it would be some of those things, like Architects, Bring Me,
30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah. I mean, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
But then I want to tour with like Def Leppard and Guns N' Roses and arena bands, like stadium rock stuff. I mean, I think we want to do it all. Play all the festivals where you see the best lineup of the best of all genres would be.
Yeah. Well, if Danny Wimmer happens to be listening right now, Danny, I have a band in mind for Louder Than Life next year, and you're listening to him right now. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You need to bring in Dead Romantic.
Please.
I think it would absolutely be killer to have you at Louder Than Life. That's my backyard, just a couple hours away from here, and I think you guys would get a lot of fans on that bill for sure.
Well, you don't need to talk us into doing it.
Yeah.
We're
there.
We're there.
Just call.
Right. Well, Mike, Chris, thanks so much for joining us here at Alive and Loud. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you very much for having us.
And thanks again for everybody that's watching and tuning in wherever you're listening to us at, Spotify or iTunes. It doesn't matter. The fact is that you're here, and we're thankful. So thanks so much, guys, for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next episode.